Welcome to Fanatics Live, where we virtually connect you with your favorite stars and athletes right at home. Tonight, we will be meeting with fans, signing autographs, and engaging in live Q&A. Now, let's welcome our host.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fanatics Live, where we bring you your favorite athletes right at home. If you're tuning in live, be sure to show some love in the comments. I'm your host, Alex Zimmerman, and I'm super excited about our show tonight. Before we go ahead and bring our guest on, I want to let you all know that tonight's show is brought to you by the FanChats Rewards Card by Fanatics. So as a FanChats Rewards Card holder, you will receive benefits and perks, including access to unforgettable experiences with athletes, earn 6% fan cash on every purchase, exclusive deals, offers, and much more. So tonight's guest, we are going to be bringing on an MLB legend, a leader of the Cincinnati Big Red Machine in the 1970s, a Hall of Famer, the notoriously talented catcher, Johnny Bench. He is a two-time MVP, a 14-time All-Star, and has helped the Reds franchise to 2 World Series. So let's go ahead and bring on Johnny.
The notorious Johnny Bench is right here.
How are you?
I never heard that one, Alex. Thank you very much. I'm wonderful. Thank you. Nice to be with you.
Of course. Yeah. Very happy to have you on. So it's been actually a little over a year since you've been on the show, and you're actually one of just a couple returning guests to our show. So we're super happy to have you. And we want to know, what have you been up to since we last chatted?
Well, I've been raising my boys. They're now 12 and 16. They're going to finish up 7th and 10th grade. They are doing terrific. Justin started tennis, and he played number 1. Of course, I could have been number 2. So that just tells you it's a brand new team and not doing it. But I am just living the life. I've got a great life. These boys are tremendous for me. And of course, I'm watching a lot of sports and the new baseball season's on the way. We've got things underway. We've got the strike over, all these things that have been a little negative for a lot of people. But hopefully we can get right on with the season, continue on, and have a great year. And then, of course, basketball starting. We got the hockey. All of these things this time of year is exciting for all of our Fanatics fans.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a really exciting time of year right now. And, we know it's really busy, but you're really active in helping the next generation and through your work with the Johnny Bench Fund. For anyone listening, that's the scholarship that supports student athletes seeking a higher education. Also, you've got the Johnny Bench Golf Classic, which benefits the Believers Academy. So can you tell us a little bit more about the Believers Academy and why that partnership is so important for you?
Well, my neighbors down the street, Alex, had a school that they started for at-risk kids. They're 14 to 22, and they really have all kinds of some either physical, mental problems, or all of these things that they do, and they teach them 65 trades, and they get them jobs. 92% of the kids, they get jobs, interns and everything else still have their jobs, and they're still making a living. They learn how to do, I don't care if it's drywalling, if it's just working from the factories and doing stuff. And we've got so many wonderful business in the Palm Beach County area right now that are hiring these kids and helping them, and they are doing tremendous work. And of course, the scholarship fund, we have about 84 kids on scholarship in the Cincinnati area, and also in my home state of Binger, Oklahoma. So we are really proud of that. And I'm going out to Oklahoma City because they have a new book that the president of the Hall of Fame and Gene Fruth have called Route 66. They had grassroots, but we're going to have a class reunion. Can you imagine? I don't know if you've been to a class reunion, but if you haven't, don't go. There are a lot of old people there who say they went to school with you. And of course, we only had 21 in our class. So we're kind of dwindling down a little bit, but I'm going to take the boys out to see my hometown of Binger, Oklahoma, now a town of 700 people, and the Johnny Bench Museum, which is really a highlight of Binger. I mean, we're drawing 12 to 15 people extra every year to come down to the museum, but it is worth seeing. And it's just been a great year. It really has. Health has been good. Everybody's healthy in the family, and my 16-year-old is getting to be 6'2", 195. And it's just a joy every day. Fixing the breakfast fixing their lunches at 5:50 in the morning, and then getting their meals together and getting off to school and picking them up. I've got a great life, really.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. As a reminder to everyone listening too, the Johnny Bench Gold Classic is coming up this October, the 13th and 14th. And Fanatics is very proud to be a partner of such a great cause. So, Johnny, how can the fans watching get involved with the Gold Classic?
Well, they certainly can go to my website. My son Bobby is taking care of all of that. He's running the golf tournament. Of course, we have the Catcher of the Year award coming up. I think that's July the 26th. But for them to be a part of it, we're going to have it at Jupiter Country Club this year. And we've got a great response and everything else. If you want to get in touch with us, just the Johnny Bench website that my son runs and puts together the golf tournament. But when you see these kids and you see the results of what they have, they're at risk and they don't get a lot of support from the county and they don't get the funds. So we're able to put some money, $60,000, $70,000 hopefully in their coffers, and all of that goes to benefit them. And when you see the rewards of these kids and how wonderful they are and how excited they are, we're teaching them how to read even at 13, 14, 15 years old. So they've had it, but these wonderful people, Lori Dyer and Joan Dyer, have done an unbelievable job of putting that all together. So just look for our website and you can find all the information about it. In fact, we're going to have a par 3 on the night before, on the 13th, on the day before. We're going to have a par 3 tournament as well. So we'll have our dinner and banquet at the Jupiter Beach Resort. My good friend Mike Walsh has that hotel. And so we're getting great support, and I appreciate Fanatics being such a great sponsor and help for us, along with my buddy Warren Green. All of these people have really done a great job to put these things together, and we're very honored that they choose us to be a part of.
Yeah, that's awesome. What an incredible legacy. That's so great to hear. Everyone, stay tuned and check out the website if you want to get involved. So we actually have some fans that are.
Alex, I got one more thing. I'm going up tomorrow up to Atlanta. We've got near Atlanta. We've got a Hope for the Warriors, which I've been co-hosting for about 17 years. For our warriors and for our Marines and soldiers who are suffering with PTSD and also with other physical ailments and everything else. But we've been supporting them. And 92% of every dollar goes to our Hope for the Warriors. So it's near and dear to my heart. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing. So we actually have some fans that are super excited to meet you. So we have the meet and greet segment. So we have our first. Yeah, are you ready to meet them? They're super excited.
I'm even brushing up on my Japanese in case we have some friend from Japan that joins us today.
That is a perfect segue. We have our first fan, Takahiro, calling in from Tokyo, Japan. And he became a fan of yours after your tour of Japan in 1978. So let's go ahead and bring on Takahiro.
Hi. Takahiro, Genki desu ka? Genki desu ka?
Genki desu.
Genki desu ne. Oh. Honored to meet you. Thank you. My good friend Tomodachi was Iso Hiremoto-san.
Tomodachi.
Oh, Hiremoto-san. And then of course Sadahara. Oh, his jersey is hanging in right on my stairs as we go up. This is unbelievable. Thank you for calling in, Takahiro.
Thank you. I am so happy I can meet you. Thank you so much. I am a fan of you and Big Red Machine. Do you remember Tokyo?
Oh, one of my favorite trips ever. Because we went to Sendai, we went to Sapporo, we were in Osaka, we were in Toyama, we went to Hiroshima, and we had like every oyster you could have at that restaurant up on top of that hotel. It was unbelievable. Sendai, and I took the bullet train, and Harimoto and I were Tomodachis, and which means friends to all of you not speaking the language. But we bought out the entire club card. We took all the beer, and as Harimoto-san said, we only give it to our friends. I love that. So we did, but we shared with everybody. We had a great time, Takahiro.
Your Japanese is very well. Thank you very much.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu. May I ask you a question? Big Red Machine, you and Mr. Pete Rose are still popular player in Japan. Could you tell me how did you and Mr. Rhodes make the Reds twice world champion? What kind of player Mr. Rhodes for you? Mr. Rhodes is compared to Ichiro Suzuki in Japan.
Oh, hey, 4,250. I'm not sure about the total. It is 1 million hits and everything else. We were actually partners in a bowling alley. We were in a car dealership. We became friends because he was already established as a star and having 200 hits a year and then breaking the all-time record of Ty Cobb's and then going on and go past 4,000 was just amazing. And, of course, he played all the positions. I think he made all-star in 5 different positions. So He was driven. He was unbelievable. Nothing was ever he was never satisfied. He wanted more. If he got 3 hits, he wanted 4. If he got 4, he wanted 5. So that determination and drive should be instilled in all of our young players that are playing the game of baseball today.
Oh, thank you very much. I am so happy I can meet you. Thank you. I am a big fan of franchise players like you and Jeter, Lipken, Rivera. I respect franchise players, Hall of Famer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tokyo. Johnny is signing a ball for you.
We got the.
Thank you very much.
It's a snake.
I really appreciate your autograph and inscription. I will never forget this moment to you. Thank you very much. Thank you again. I will never forget this moment of today. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much.
Takahiro.
So you say arigato gozaimasu, which means thank you very much.
I've got to learn that.
And then they say doidasmashite, which means you're welcome.
Very nice. Awesome. You really brushed up on your Japanese.
Yeah, I hope there's no other languages because I'm having a problem after this. Okay.
So we've got our next guest coming on, Michael. He's calling in from St. Louis, Missouri. His go-to concession stand item is an old-fashioned hot dog, nachos, and a beer. And he became a fan of yours as a kid growing up in Cincinnati. And he says that the Big Red Machine is what we all wanted to be a part of. So let's go ahead and bring on Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Johnny, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. You are a part of the biggest fan base and the best fan base in all the country. Those Cardinal fans are unbelievable, so supportive. And you got all of the guys that have gone through there, and now you got Pujols back. I mean, it's got to be a great excitement. Then you got Arenado, which I just get amazed at. Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, of course, you had a catcher there somewhere. I think he's been there for 1,000 years. I mean, he's been unbelievable in.
In Wayno.
And see the battery, see what they're doing, setting records for the, most wins by a battery. I mean, that was incredible because when I came up, my roommate was a guy named Gary Nolan, and Gary was 19 and I was 19, which made it one of the, it's like Yadier still doing what he's doing, but that is just incredible to be able to last that long longevity wise. But I guess maybe you have a question.
I'm sure you can appreciate that being behind the plate for all those innings and stuff like that too. So, yeah, lucky enough, I was actually able to meet you last October when you came up and helped out Ozzy for his event.
Wasn't that a great job? Yeah.
You guys, the two of you do so much for your communities. It's outstanding. I just got
I was
part
so
of the list of what you
that
do.
Banquet. Thank you.
So that was awesome. But I do have a question. I guess growing up, I got to go to a decent amount of games, and I guess. Who was, and it does, I guess it could be any of the pitchers on your staff or anybody you actually caught anywhere, right? Who was one of the hardest, pitchers of all the great pitchers you caught to catch, and maybe for what reason? Maybe for different reasons, right? Different guys were harder to catch and handle.
Well, we had a pitcher named Wayne Simpson, and back in 1970, he was 12-1 at the All-Star break, and he only lost the one game 1-0. He had a fastball, and I still to this day believe that every time he caught the ball. I got a baseball over here. So every time he caught the ball, I just think he caught it. And however, he just put his hand in and threw it. So I'm gripping it across these seams. He would have maybe done this, 4 seams, 2 seams, 8 seams. I never could figure it out, but the ball would go boom, 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 boom. And I never knew what to expect. He threw 95 miles an hour. So here I am. And boy, when this ball went this way and just dug into my hand would be like this big. It would swell up this big. Then he had a curveball that would just snap off. He was unbelievable. And of course, then I had the great honor of catching Tom Seaver after the trade over to that. And what a gentleman and what a wonderful thing. But, you got Don Gullett, you had Jack Billingham. I have to mention guys.
Sure.
We had a great bullpen. And it was a labor of love. I can tell you that, Michael.
That's awesome. That's a name I've not heard before. So unfortunately, and that's awesome.
Which one?
That's exactly what I want to hear. The first gentleman.
Wayne?
Yeah.
He was 6'5", 220 pounds. He could throw a football 100 yards in the air, and he could run the 109.5. But he had that curveball that he snapped off, and his elbow finally popped. And
oh my gosh.
And unfortunately, we never. It was just he was unhittable. He was unhittable. and a little bit wild. So,
well,
Bob Gibson wild,
It keeps him unsettled in the box, right, Johnny?
It did. It did.
That's
fantastic awesome. Individual as well.
Well, this is a great honor to meet you, and I appreciate it very much taking the time out.
Thank you.
I will say that I appreciate all that you do for both areas that you're in now. The Cincinnati, I get to hear all the stuff you're doing down there, and I think what you players do after you're done playing is every bit as important. So,
well, we try.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome, and I'm so happy to meet you.
Michael, before you go, Johnny's actually going to sign a baseball.
Oh, awesome!
For you,
yes, please.
Yeah. You got to see.
I think we got it. I get it. We've already got the HOF on there.
Yeah, awesome.
But now let's go ahead and add.
Thank you, Johnny.
After we figure 850,000 throws and 450,000 squats, I actually can write where it's almost legible. I'll see what you think.
I think that's great.
All right,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we've got one more fan that is tuning in to ask you a quick question. So we've got Matthew calling in from Indianapolis, Indiana. And my guess is that he's at least been to Cincinnati because his go-to concession stand item is a beer and a Skyline chili dog. So let's bring on Matthew.
Oh, man, you probably have the ribs too, Michael. Now, I got to ask you, is the Dietz, are you related?
Yeah.
To Dick?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a connection there. I don't know exactly how my dad did it. They're from Batesville area, just outside of Cincinnati, and so there's some connection there. Now I don't know if that's like a family tale that we like to just tell each other.
Well, you claim everybody named Dietz.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it is. But Dick Dietz was, for a lot of people don't know, was a really good catcher for the Giants. Played for years and years, and he was a tough sucker, man. He played hard.
Oh yeah,
I still remember him trying to run over me at home plate, but I stepped out of the way. I wasn't going to let him hit me. He was too big.
I don't blame you there. But Mr. Bench,
so go with the Skyline chili. You got to go with the Skyline chili for people who are not familiar with Cincinnati. You probably have the graters and have the ribs, and of course then you have the Scott. But there's nothing like a good Skyline. It'll get you going through the game.
Absolutely not. No, it pairs well with the beer, and then if you get the Montgomery ribs as well, I mean you're in heaven.
Yeah, and right now I guess there's not a long line at the concession stand, is there?
No, I don't think there is. But hopefully that changes soon.
Some of the young kids hopefully will turn it around.
Absolutely, we got a young team and a good farm system as well.
Getting there. So, what part of town are you living, or where are you living?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, you're just a couple-hour drive.
Absolutely. So I got two little girls. I take them to the ballpark, at least a couple times a year. Nice family, outing, and
good for you. I'm gonna look at you got some bobbleheads there. You got a Wheaties box.
I got plenty of bobbleheads. I have more in the basement. Yeah. I love going and just getting them. And then a buddy of mine, we like to trade depending on what games we go to. But I really want to just, thank you for taking the time out. I know you have a busy schedule, and it means a lot to myself and a lot of the fans.
The girls? How old are the girls?
My oldest is 5, and the youngest is about to turn 2.
And your wife is a big supporter too.
She is.
That's great.
She loves my crazy obsession with it. Now, sometimes she will say it looks like the Reds threw up on my office wall, but you know what? Hey, we're going to take that. I'll take that as the worst, thing she can say. But I do have a question for you. And we do see, with a lot of teams these days, they go after a lot of talent, but doesn't always translate to success. But the 1970s, Big Red Machine, outside of the skill set, what, in your opinion, really made that team so successful?
A hell of a lot of talent. We know that going in, but the fact is that you had Pete, Joe, Tony, and myself, which they call the Big Four. But, Sparky would even ask us what we thought of maybe getting a player. I mean, how can you go wrong when you got Griffey in right field, you got a Gold Glove fielder in center field in Cesar Geronimo, you had Dave Concepcion, who I still believe is the only guy who spent his entire career with one team of 21 years, I think, and is not in the Hall of Fame. You had a Gold Glover in that, and he won 5, probably would have won 10 had not Ozzie come into the league. Mm-hmm. And then you had Tony Perez. I mean, all of these guys, but we had a quality pitching staff. We had a really I would say we didn't have egos. We really genuinely liked each other. And that's how that was put together. As Sparky said, they asked Sparky, how do you judge talent? He went, with his eye. And he asked us, what do we think of so-and-so? And we, a lot of times, we actually answered. We told him. And a lot of times trades were made because of our recommendation, or we actually said no to several players that wouldn't fit in because they're just as important. Like a guy like Bill Plummer and Merv Retman and Terry Crowley and Doug Flint, all these guys that had to be on the bench, but they knew their role. It's just as important. And, of course, then you go to the bullpen with Eastwick and McEnany and Bourbon and Clay Carroll. I mean, a great starting rotation. So we really, really did have the nucleus. And people, everywhere I go, people still, they're from Philadelphia. They're from I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Cubs fan. But, boy, we really respected you guys because we played the game the way everybody thought it should be played.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I would say that's a good point where you guys were a great team. And you can take all the talent you want, but it takes a little bit to make a great team.
All right, here comes the World Series MVP, 1976 ball, coming
Awesome.
your way.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for being such a big fan. Take care of those girls. Keep them.
Will do, sir.
I'm sure that it's all yours now, my friend. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew.
Awesome. Wow, those are some great questions. I was kind of hoping Michael was going to ask you who your favorite pitcher to catch for was, even though he asked you the hardest to catch for. But did you have a favorite?
Not really. You know, I had Don Gullett and Gary Nolan. Jack Billingham won 19 games 2 times. And then, of course, how can you go wrong when you say Tom Seavers traded over? And, I mean, it was just perfection to watch and to be a part of. And so, you know, we really did have really good pitching. In fact, I think we led the league in ERA in 75 and 76 when we won the 2 World Series. So even Freddie Norman, man, I can't mention little Freddie, 5'8", little dynamo, screwball and everything else. Jack Billingham with the big slider. You had Gary Nolan with the roundhouse curve and the great change. Then you had Don Gullett that just smoked and threw smoke and had that slider. No, it was a labor of love. Labor of love.
Yeah, definitely a legendary time. But this is the part where we're going to let the people on social media have a turn at asking their questions. So if you're tuning in live, everybody, make sure you follow on Fanatics on Instagram. You can keep an eye out for our stories where you can submit your best questions to each of our guests and earn a chance to have it answered live on the air. So we have a social media question from Scott. We can go ahead and bring his up.
Hello, Scott from Ohio. I'm a FanCash Rewards card holder. Johnny, in your opinion, what team was better, 75 or 76?
Wow. Well, we had Dan Dreesen, as when he was our designated hitter in 76, but I don't know. I guess it was so special in 7 because it was our first World Series win. And we had lost 2 World Series. If we lost this World Series, we were going to be the Buffalo Bills. I mean, you just can't lose. You just can't lose. You are the big red machine. So it just all kind of ran together. But 75 was magical to walk in that clubhouse after we won the World Series and to see the joy on everybody's face, to know that they were world champions. I guess I'd have to lean towards that. Pat Zachary came along and he was another filled in a role and everything else. And it was really special, but we beat the Red Sox, and then, of course, next year we swept the Yankees. So to say, when you go back, we swept the playoffs, we swept the World Series. I mean, it would be hard to say that 76 wasn't the best of all, but it was just a matter of the fact that I think our first win made it better and made it better for us.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so we've got one more question from Jimmy submitted on social media. We can go ahead and bring his video up.
Hey, Johnny, this is Jimmy from Georgia. I'm a big fan of yours, and I think you're the greatest catcher of all time. I know the game of baseball has changed since you played, but is there a catcher in today's game that you would compare to yourself? Thanks for answering my question.
The one thing about how, if we think the game has changed, just turn off the TV and turn off the radio, go to the game, have a hot dog, have that skyline here, have a beer, and sit down and watch it, because it still is a great game. Sometimes we hear too much. Sometimes we already, we're picking out guys that may be in a slump. Just go enjoy the game. But it's hard to beat, what Yadier has done. But this Salvador Perez over in Kansas City is pretty darn amazing. But, every catcher is. I mean, you got Real Muto. I mean, my gosh, what a individual he is. You got, if you went down every team, Contreras in Chicago, all these guys that still can do the job. A guy I really admire is Suzuki. He's still catching. He's still playing after longevity. It just goes to show you, if you're interested in making a major league team, teams will always need catchers. I mean, right now we've got catchers that are hitting $180 and are still in the lineup. So if you can catch and call a game, you're going to do it. But to watch Salvador, he's pretty darn amazing. I'm telling you. But you know what? I'll give about a 95 rating to most of the catchers in the major leagues right now. They are really talented, great athletes, and they really do call. Well, the game calling has been a little bit of a difference, but a lot of coaches and a lot of managers think they can call a game better. They do it from analytics and everything else. I'm still trying to get my head around that. But I probably go at Salvador play almost every day.
Great. All right. So we are going to take a short break before we move on to the next clip. So here's a short word from the sponsor.
Introducing the FanCash Rewards Credit Card by Fanatics. Earn 6% FanCash when you shop with your card on Fanatics.com with exclusive cardholder perks and 6-month special financing on purchases of $150 or more. Text now to apply or go to Fanatics.com.
Today's show is brought to you by the FanCash Rewards Card by Fanatics. For more information on exclusive perks and benefits of being a card holder, head on over to Fanatics.com or text FAN EVENTS to 94323 to apply right now. All right, so we are going into the last segment of the show. This one's pretty fun. We have a rapid fire set of questions.
Oh, no.
Are you ready for this?
My brain, I had too many foul balls, but go ahead and try me, Alex. That's all right.
All right, so you've just got to answer with the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Oh, boy.
All right, so
pizza. Oh, sorry.
You jumped the gun. Okay, so
margaritas. Yes. I'm anticipating. Go ahead.
All right. This one, you actually can provide an answer. You don't have to choose. So, favorite away stadium to play in?
Philadelphia.
Okay. Fishing or golfing?
Fishing.
Okay. So, fishing saltwater or freshwater?
Freshwater.
All right. Whose autograph do you want?
Mike Trout.
What's your favorite?
A lot of guys.
Oh, that's a few. All right. What's your favorite family activity?
Basketball.
Nice. Who would you want to jersey swap with?
Tom Brady.
Nice. Dream golf foursome.
Well, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and my dad.
Very nice. If you had walk-up songs when you played, what would yours have been?
How do you like me now?
Good one. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
You know what? My son asks me that all the time. I want to fly.
Yeah, I think me too.
I want to fly. I don't know. I'm sure there's others. I won't ask you yours. Go ahead.
Okay, last one. What's the strangest item you've been asked to sign?
Can't say in public.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
I signed. No, Alex. There's a group called the Rosie Reds, and they are ladies that support the team, and they always came to spring training. We had a lady that was 90 years old, the sweetest thing, and I saw her every year. I mean, I saw her for like 8 or 10 years in a row, and I'm in there, and she calls me over, and she's got on this long dress and everything else, but she pulls up the dress. She's got a slip underneath, and she wanted me to sign her slip. I mean, it was the cutest little thing you've ever seen. The crowd was going crazy, and they were so great for us. But yeah, I guess that would be the craziest thing.
That's sweet. All right. Well, that is the end of today's show. Thank you to all of our viewers who have tuned in tonight, and thank you, Johnny, for your time. All of our guests for calling in. Thank you so much, John. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans before we sign off?
No, stay supportive of your team, and turn off a little bit of the sports and let's just go to the game, have your beer, have your hot dog, sit there and enjoy the game. It's still a great game. We're not going to look at all the numbers and everything else. We're just going to take the game for what it is it's still a wonderful game. And boy, could I use 500 million right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Johnny, for coming on the show.
You're welcome, Alex. Thank you. Thanks, Fanatics.
I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Thank you again for catching up with us. We are looking forward to talking to Johnny again soon. In the Fanatics Live lineup, we'll be catching up with the Miami Marlins manager, Don Mattingly, on May 19th at 11 a.m. So be sure to follow us on social media at Fanatics to be able to submit your best questions to our next guest, and visit fanatics.com/live to view any upcoming appearances and watch previous broadcasts. Everybody, have a great night.